Hello and welcome to today's webinar, Secure Client Communication. My name is William Wallace and I will be moderating the webinar today. Just a few quick pointers before we get started. First of all, if at any point during the webinar you have any questions or any comments that you'd like to make, then please don't hesitate to get in contact with us. You can do this either via the question or chat functions on the GoToWebinar toolbar, which hopefully you can all see on your screen. And we'll either answer the questions via text straight away or during the presentations itself, and at the end we should have time for a question and answer session anyway. Just also a quick mention, the recording of this webinar along with the presentation slides will also be made available to you early next week. We will inform you of this via email. So without any further ado, I'm pleased to welcome our two panelists onto the line this morning. First of all, our guest speaker, Mr. Hannes Mitterer, business consultant and financial expert from the company Die Wirtschaftsberater, and Karl Mayerhofer, Fabersoft Managing Director. The format of the webinar today will start off with a short introduction to the topic by Mr. Mitterer, then Karl Mayerhofer will take over the presentation, and then we'll switch back to Mr. Mitterer for a more detailed demonstration, and then, as I mentioned earlier, we'll go on to the questions and answers. So I'll hand over control now to Mr. Mitterer. Hopefully you should have control now.
Okay, kann ich reden, ne? Yeah. Good morning. My name is Hannes Mitterer from Die Wirtschaftsberater. We are a tax consultants firm in Linz in Upper Austria. Linz is the third largest city in Austria, about 200,000 inhabitants. Our firm is working in accountancy, payroll accounting, annual financial statements, tax returns, tax consultancy, social insurance and labor law in combining with payroll accounting. Specialists both work for legal proceedings and for tax authorities, exactly as for the social security authorities. So the content of this webinar is what's wrong with client communication today, and then secure client communication in the cloud and best practice with a live demonstration from our firm, and question and answers. What's wrong with client communication? Business consultancy chambers predominantly use email for communication with their clients, but this long established practice has serious disadvantages. For the first, files sent as email attachments are completely unprotected. It's a great problem for our profession. For the second, communication via email is unreliable, especially when dealing with large volumes of data and attachments. I think you also can have this problem. For the third, trying to establish traceability and transparency in order to satisfy compliance requirements is difficult and time-consuming. Now cloud computing offers a completely new high-tech means of communicating securely and transparently with clients. So I give to Karl.
Thank you, Mr. Mitterer. I'm pleased to take over now and to introduce the concept of cloud computing with regard to secure client communication. And later on, Mr. Mitterer will give a live demonstration how he uses the cloud in order to achieve secure communication with his clients. But first of all, I'd like to talk a bit about the concept of cloud computing. Mr. Mitterer mentioned all the disadvantages you have today if you use email communication to exchange documents with your clients. Of course, we are all used to that. Email is a commodity which has been used for decades now, but today we think that there are better technologies which could be used to set up client communication, and that's cloud computing. So what is cloud computing? Actually, it means using software over the internet. Most people use that already today in their private life. For instance, if you use Facebook or if you buy a book at Amazon.com, you do already use cloud computing. You do not install software on your notebook to buy a book at Amazon. You simply use your web browser and you use the software from Amazon to buy a book online. And this concept is more and more used by companies today. Companies do also benefit from using cloud-based applications over the internet. I would like to talk today together with Mr. Mitterer about the specific aspects which are the benefits for doing secure client communication based on cloud computing solutions. If we look at analysts like Forrester, what are the major reasons why companies choose the cloud as a basis for their applications? First of all, it's all about speed of implementation and deployment. In particular, line of business is really willing to accept cloud-based solutions because it's so easy to set them up, and it's so you can be so quick to introduce an application in your company if you use it as a cloud-based application. Of course, the second reason is the lower overall costs, in particular in terms of capital expenditure. It's so if you use an application in the cloud, in particular as software as a service, so real functionality, application functionality via the cloud, you do not need to set up a project, you do not need to buy hardware, you do not need to buy software licenses, you do not need to set up your IT team to set up that project. You do not need to maintain an application on your own. You simply use the software over the internet, and the software is run by professional IT people in a cloud data center. So that's you're much faster to set up your business process, and you do have overall lower costs to do that. And this gives you more agility. In particular for the line of business, this is very important to be as agile as possible today. On the other hand, what are the inhibitors? So the advantages are clear, but why do companies still hesitate to use the cloud for their application? And as you can see in this analysis by Forrester, the major reason today still is security. There are still security concerns, so companies hesitate because they are not sure where the data is stored, where the data is physically persisted. Who has access in the cloud to their data? Are they still in control of their data? Are they able to get the data out again of the cloud? Are there ways to close the contract with the cloud provider to get the data back? Is it ensured that the data is removed and destroyed at the cloud provider if the company wants to stop the contract? So these are all the issues which are important here, and I think we will talk about them later if we talk about secure client communication, because we have the same issues there as well. The second significant inhibitor is our integration challenges. So how can I integrate the cloud service with my existing applications? Most companies do already have an existing landscape of applications, and that's certainly true for Mr. Mitterer and his company as well. He does already have applications like IGEL, which is a specific application to handle cases for his clients, and he wants to integrate that with a cloud service. And from our point of view, this can be achieved by using platform-independent standards like technology standards like WebDAV or CMIS. These are international standards which can be used to integrate with existing applications. And of course, application performance is also an issue. If you rely on a cloud service, you want to be sure that it's available all the time, that it has high performance and speed, so that you can really work with the cloud as if you would use a local application in your local environment. So Mr. Mitterer uses the cloud based on Folio Cloud. Folio Cloud is a software as a service which is provided by Pharmasoft, and the major concept is the principle of a cloud document management system, and it's based on what is called a team room. And a team room is a secure workspace in the public cloud, and you only get access to that team room if access is granted, and if you are invited for collaboration, and if you are authenticated in a very strong way using strong authentication, and we talk about that later. So a team room gives you a secure workspace to collaborate and share documents with your clients. So on the left-hand side you have the business consultancy, which could provide working results in that secure workspace, which is called a team room. And on the other side you have the client who could access his documents via that team room over the internet. So now you could say, I can do that today with any kind of online storage. For instance, you could use maybe the Google Cloud or any other kind of online storage to do that. But there are two major aspects which make this solution so interesting. One is security, and in particular the fact where the data is stored. In this case, the data is stored in so-called national clouds, so the data stays within national boundaries, and it definitely stays in Europe. That's a very important aspect for instance, for Mr. Mitterer to know where the data is, and to know that for his clients as well. And on the other hand, it's not just online storage. It provides a lot of high-profile features to ensure transparency, traceability, auditing, document management capabilities to support your compliance requirements. A lot of companies, or almost all companies today, have very significant compliance requirements. They need to fulfill legal requirements, industry standards requirements, or even corporate compliance requirements. And this cloud solution allows them to support these compliance requirements because it provides the appropriate cloud features to do that. There's also international visibility for this kind of solution. As you can see here, this is a slide from Gartner from the latest Portals Content and Collaboration Summit in Orlando. As you can see, this kind of solution has already significant visibility within these analyst groups, and Fabersoft in particular is mentioned here as well to be one of the players who is able to support content in the cloud. If we look at Forrester, Forrester does also recognize Fabersoft solution in this paper, which is called The Changing Cloud Agenda. It came out a couple of weeks ago. They also introduced this concept of B2B collaboration based on business processes. You can see that on the left side. If we look at two companies, company A and company B, so one could be the business consultancy, the other one could be a client, and how could they collaborate? One way is to have shared data, which means that the business consultancy has its own business processes internally, and the client has its own business processes, and they share at particular points within that business process, they share data which is provided via the cloud. And the next generation of B2B collaboration would be to share documents which are provided in the cloud, which means that you have your content, your document management system, and you provide the documents in the cloud and access them from both sides in the specific business processes. And the third level or generation would then be to run the business process across company A and B in the cloud already, so that both sides do not have the necessity to set up their own process environment to run that B2B collaboration process, but the process itself is already provided within the cloud, and both sides access the process within the cloud. And that's also something Folio Cloud would support, as we can show later. And the nice thing here is that it also supports mobility in a very good way. So if you want to access data or your business process on your iPad or on your mobile phone, it's much easier to do it in that way if the data, including the process information, is already provided within the cloud. And as you can see, the strength for this kind of solution obviously is that it supports the fulfillment of compliance requirements, because it provides cloud features like versioning, like auditing, like workflows, like record management features. And that's much more than just having an online storage. Online storage is just moving files into the online storage and getting them back again, moving in, moving out files. But here we have much more features and functionalities to ensure compliance, which of course is very important for secure client communication. If we look at security for a moment, because we learned that security is the most important inhibitor, this solution tries to address security using international standards and using certifications by independent auditors. So, for instance, you have secure authentication, for instance, based on two-factor authentication or even digital identity. You have encryption on the line. and you have your certificates, for instance, ISO 27001, ISO 20000, ISAE 3402. These are the most important international certificates to guarantee security and reliability in the data centers. And of course, we use encryption to encrypt content as well. And on the application level, we have this concept of a team room, as I mentioned, which is a protected area in the public cloud, which can only be accessed by people who are granted access and who are authorized and invited for collaboration. And the nice thing is, because it's a public cloud, you can access the data if you are granted access and if you are invited, you can access the secure workspace wherever you are with all your mobile devices as well. Secure access has a lot to do with authentication. And there are different ways to authenticate to get access to the cloud. Most providers today use an email address as a login name and a password. And some of them do already use two-factor authentication using mobile PIN. That's of course supported by the Folio Cloud solution as well. But in addition to that, you can also use so-called client certificates, which are issued by the company for a specific employee. This gives you a single sign-on in the cloud. So you do not need to enter any data to get access. It's sufficient to have a client certificate which is issued by the company, and then you do already get access to the cloud. And the most sophisticated way to get access to the cloud would be to have a digital identity. And we do support that already in the German-speaking countries, as you can see here. And the difference here is that if you log in with such a digital identity, it's absolutely ensured that all your collaboration partners can rely on your identity. So if I'm logged in with my name, Karl Meyerhofer, then anybody knows this really is Karl Meyerhofer because he's authenticated via a security infrastructure which is provided by a government agency. And that's a new level, a new quality of authentication, because if I use login name and password, I can get my login name, my email address from anywhere, and nobody would really know whether I'm Karl Meyerhofer or whether somebody maintains to be Karl Meyerhofer. So that's the real difference here, and that's also quite interesting for secure client communication, because you want to know your clients and you want to know your business consultancy agents. And another interesting aspect in terms of security is that you know where the data is. This is what we call the principle of national clouds. Folio Cloud is a public cloud. It's available globally and instantly for anybody on the planet. But we have a concept of national clouds. We have data centers in different countries. And you can choose, if you create a team room, you can choose where the data in that team room should be persisted physically. And that's an interesting thing for Mr. Mitterer as well, because if he has a German client, he could define that all the data in such a team room is physically stored in Germany. Which is an important aspect in terms of compliance for most companies in Germany, for instance, that they know that their data stays in Germany, even if it is used in the cloud for B2B collaboration. But you want to know where your data is. And for compliance, there are many more features, as I did already mention, which are interesting here. like versioning, a comprehensive search, for instance, that you can really search for documents across all your team rooms, so where you have access, that there is a revision-proof archive, that there is auditing, so that you really know who did what when within such a team room, that there is transparency in terms of access rights, and that there is a certified records management, which is certified by MOREC 2. MOREC 2 is a European standard for records management. And that's all. It all plays together to give you the best support for compliance. Looking at application integration, as I mentioned, the nice thing here is that you can use standards like WebDAV or CMIS. WebDAV is supported by most operating systems today. So if you mount a network drive with Windows Explorer, for instance, you use WebDAV as a standard to do that. And this allows you to mount the cloud as a network directory within your Windows Explorer or your Mac Finder. So you can use a network drive letter like Z in this case, Z clients ABC Inc. This would be a path, and this path actually points to the cloud on your local environment. And all these applications like Eagle or Advocate or others are able to save documents to a path. And if you provide a network directory path, they are already able to save data directly to a cloud team room based on this WebDAV standard, which is provided by the operating system. So the local application works with directory path information as they do, and the operating system links the path to the cloud, and this gives you a nice integration of all your applications with the cloud environment. And then you get the best of two worlds. You have your applications for document production as they are used today in all these companies. You have your evidence management, for instance, within those applications. And on the other hand, you use the cloud for secure and reliable, as a secure, reliable document repository, which gives access to your clients, and you do not need to send them the documents as attachments in an email. So, and of course you have auditing, versioning, and all the transparency and traceability within the cloud. And you have the security even on mobile devices. Talking about mobile devices, as I mentioned, we have the opportunity here to access information on the iPad, on an Android tablet, on those smartphones, using apps. You can download your iOS app from the iTunes App Store, or the Android apps from Google Play, for instance, and you can then use those apps to access documents in the cloud team room. And the nice thing here is, and we maybe show that later in the live demo if we have time for that, you can also synchronize data on your mobile devices, so that you can access documents without having an internet connection. And that's still an important issue, because there are situations where you do not have internet access, but you still need to have access to your documents, and that's where you use synchronization. You can define a list of team rooms, and they are synchronized automatically in the background even, so that you can be sure that you have documents from those team rooms always with you, even if you don't have a solid internet connection. Yes, these are some of the awards which underline that the cloud is an interesting way to implement secure client communication. As I said in the beginning, and as Mr. Mitterer said, we are all used to using email because it's such a commodity solution. Everybody did that over years and years in this way to exchange content and data as attached in an email. But if you do that, and if you don't encrypt your email, everybody has access to that data and to those documents. If a business consultancy agent sends a sensitive document as an attachment in an email, and he would maybe miss the right email address, he would send the document to somebody on this planet, and this person would immediately have access to the content in the document if it is attached to an email. And that's not a very secure way, apart from the fact that email data is persisted on different mail servers all the way along, and you don't know where the data really stays. So it's not a very secure way to communicate with your clients. If you do that with a cloud-based solution, you would only send links, hyperlinks, which are embedded in your email. So you can be sure that the data is not included in the email, but just a reference to the data. And if somebody wants to get access to the data, he needs to authenticate himself, maybe even using digital identity, and that's the only. And he needs to have granted access to such a team room, and that's much more secure, even if you miss the right mail address, because if somebody gets that email, he wouldn't have access to the content because he's not authenticated for the team room. So it's much more secure to do it that way, apart from the fact that you have more transparency, more traceability. It's hard to follow all the emails, because if I send an email to my client as a business consultants agency and I send a CC to 20 other people, I do generate 20 copies of those documents. And if those people again start to reply using and CC other people, you immediately have a mess of different copies of the documents, and it's hard to track where the really valid information is located. So these are all reasons which make the cloud so interesting to use it for secure client communication.
Okay, thank you, Carl. I'll just take back the control quickly. So after that introduction, we'll now move on to the live demo from Mr. Mitterer, who's just preparing the demo now. And if I hand back control, then hopefully you can now see Mr. Mitterer's screen.
Now I will show you by demonstration how we work in our office with Folio Cloud. So now I join Folio Cloud with my email address. You see H.Mitterer, die Wirtschaftsberater, and put in my password. And now it's the two-way authentication, the password and a mobile PIN. Now I will get a mobile PIN on my smartphone. So, and now I'm in my cloud, my personal cloud from Hannes Mitterer. And so you can see my different partners, my some different clients with which we do communicate by the cloud. Per example, I'm a member of the supervisory board from a company that's also used for communication with all the members of this board. There are the topics from the meetings, the protocol, the minutes from these meetings, and all the members can see this files, and the communication thus encrypted, is secure and not to read for not authorized people. Now I will show you a client. The first you have to do is to establish the team room for the client. That's the main team room. It could be you can establish one team room and all the communication would perform within this team room. But this, in the most cases, this wouldn't be the right way to do this. Now we have established a chamber, a sub-team room, general for the people from the client, and another sub-team room for the management, for the owners from the client, and you can now. It's very important that you can allow different. You can give different rights to different members who can join. Who can work within this team room. For example, the owner, the management can change data, can put data in this team room, can read all documents in this team room. But some stuffs in the accountancy or other issues have only the right to read the files and not change. And also they have not the right to read all the documents. This you can organize this different access from the members. So in the general team room in this client, we have the payroll accountancy, and we have the balance sheet. The payroll accountancy, you will see information which stuff will come to the company and leave the company, have left the company. All this information would be in this order. Another client example. Also, the payroll accountancy. You will see PDF files and other orders with different So this is the communication the last month for the payroll accountancy as an example to use this communication. For us it's very important the security. You have heard by Mr. Mayhofer the button if you send an email it's not secure. This is now I will show you another, not from a client. So if I will send for example, this this file to Mr. Mayhofer and other people from our clients or within our company, you can send it as a PDF. It would be the following process. So. Das funktioniert wahrscheinlich nicht, oder? You will see an email like you know it. This way would not be encrypted. You can do, and this is the usual way, you know. That's another way. You can copy this file, and then you go to a member from the team. It's a member of our staff in the office, and if I do this way to send this file, it would be encrypted. It's only a short way other. And you have much more security compared with the usual way. So I will log out.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Mitterer. I think we'll just switch back to Karl Mayhofer for a further demo. Karl, it's all yours.
Okay, so we saw how Mr. Mitterer uses the cloud within his company to share documents and exchange documents with his clients, and what kind of structure he uses for that. And just to add on that, a couple of things I could show. We have still, I would say, about 6 to 8 minutes to give you to show you other aspects for that solution. So if we look at the login again, as I said, Mr. Mitterer did already use his mail address and password in combination with a mobile PIN. You could also use certificates. I will switch to English here. You could also use certificates, and you could use a digital ID. For instance, the Austrian, the German, or the Swiss digital ID to log in. I will use the certificate just to show you how that works. As you can see, I do already get access to my team rooms without entering any information, and that's because I used a digital certificate on my notebook, and that's single sign-on. In this case, it was sufficient that I logged into my company notebook in the morning, and I can use that information in combination with my certificate to access the cloud without entering any information in addition to that. And now you can see my my team rooms here. I'm logged in with my account here. How would I create a new team room? It's quite easy. You would simply click on Create Team Room, and then I could say, let's say this is the client team room. I could also assign the team room to a company or to an organization. We allow companies to register for the service within the cloud. And the nice thing here is that you do not simply use the cloud as a single person, as a single account. You can register your organization within the cloud, and then you can manage the data, the online storage, the security for all the employees within your organization in a central manner within the cloud. You could also add a security level, which means if I choose certificate here, this means that only people have access who are authenticated with certificates. I could also use digital ID, for instance, as a security level, and then only those people would have access. So you can have very secure team rooms or not so secure team rooms based on the content within those team rooms. You can differentiate that by using security levels. So, and if I create that team room, I do have a new team room here. Then I could, for instance, add a nice logo here. I can choose a logo. Let's say maybe I can choose this one here. Let's see. Save this. So now you can see that I do have a nice client logo for my team room. And the next step is how do I provide content for such a team room? A nice way to do it would be to use drag and drop, for instance. I'm not sure whether you can see that now, so I should maybe switch to my screen here. Now you should see my screen. Now I could, for instance, take these documents here from my local notebook and I could simply drag it and drop it to my browser, and if I approve that, this will automatically upload the whole hierarchy of documents and directories on my notebook to the cloud team room. As you can see, I can switch on the hierarchy here. I have the whole hierarchy of documents now within my team room. So I can simply use drag and drop to provide content for my team room. How do I grant access? On the other side, I do have this list of people who have access. I have full control now, and now I could say I want Mr. Mitter to join me for collaboration here. I find him in the contacts directory, and I can add him as a contact, and now he has read access for that content within the team room. And I can change that here. I could give him change access, which allows him to change documents and upload documents. I could give him full control, which means he would be allowed to grant access to other people as well. And as you can see, he is authenticated using a mobile PIN, and I am authenticated using my Austrian citizen card. So I have a digital ID which can be used for authentication as well. I did not use it in this particular situation, but I can if I want to. So this is a way to provide content. And as Mr. Mister said, you would like to provide content for other people. You can send them via email. It's also quite easy to use the context menu and click on send, which opens a new mail in your mail client. In my case, it's Outlook, and you can see that there is this link here. Hello, Mr. And I can send him the document now. but it's not an attachment. It's just a link. It's a reference. And this means that I can show you the link here. Maybe now you can see the link here. It's based on HTTPS, so it's encrypted communication, and this is the identity of the document within the cloud. And now if Mr. Mitterer wants to access that information, he needs to authenticate for the cloud to get access to that document. You can also synchronize content with the cloud quite easily. You can, as I said, you can use the cloud as a network directory. I can show you here. This is my Windows Explorer, of course. And as you can see on the computer, I do have a network drive, which is letter F. And these are my team rooms in the cloud. And it shows me all those team rooms which are available in the cloud, and I can access them directly here from within my Explorer. And if I copy data to that Explorer network drive, it will be automatically uploaded to the cloud again. Yeah. And finally, I would like to show you how you can access the information on your iPad or on your tablet. You should see my tablet screen now. And here is the Folio Cloud app. You can see the app now. And the app does also show me all the team rooms which are in the cloud, so I can see my client team room, which I just created a couple of minutes ago. It's already there. Now what I could do is I could say make it available offline, and now it estimates how much data needs to be synchronized to prepare that team room offline, and I can then click on Start to synchronize this particular team room on my local environment. And as I mentioned already, so if I click on Start now, the synchronization would start, and it would provide me all the information which is within that team room on my local environment. And if I go offline, you can now see that some of them are in gray. I don't have access to them in an offline mode because I didn't synchronize them. But there are others like the client team room, which is still available even if I do not have an internet connection, and I could open the documents like this one here. I can also open them in apps like Pages, and then I could work on the documents even in an offline mode. I can work on the document, and I can later on upload or synchronize the documents if I have internet connection again. So again, this is all about usability, ease of use. It should be very easy to use drag and drop to synchronize with your data in the cloud, because we think that mobility is a very important factor today. It's a competitive advantage if you, as a business consultants agency, are able to provide content for your clients in a way that the client can access the content on his mobile devices in a very secure and reliable way. So thanks for your attention, and now I would like to hand back to Will to answer some questions.
Okay, thank you very much, Karl. There's actually just one question that I think is for Mr. Mitterer. If I could just ask the question quickly. The question is, in your opinion, what are the main advantages of cloud computing for your business sector, also for die Wirtschaftsberater and other similar companies in the same sector?
The main advantages for us, the first is the security, that mails are not unprotected, which are sent between our office and the client. For the second, the client and we have the same data store, the same database. The clients have not to save the data in their firm. The client in each time, each location, he can look for his data and is not to do this in this firm. The client can see all his contracts, his balance sheet, his issues from the accounting which he had got from us, and all over the world, all over the day. All members of the team in our office, the team in the firm of the client have the same database. There is only one physical file and not several files, and this only file is seen and is read from the client, the member of the team, from the client, the members of the team in our firm. You can work with the same document. For example, there is to establish a contract for our client. The lawyer can work with the same document, the same data file. The client can read this file or can work with this file, and also our firm can work with this common document, and the result will be the final contract, and you can see the several versions of the working process for this document, and you have not to send all these versions, the progress of the contract over the unprotected way, by the unprotected way, like an email. It's very secure. Nobody without the allowed persons can read and see what the thoughts to solve this contract, for example.
Thank you very much. I think that's a pretty good summary of some of the topics that we touched on today in the webinar, Secure Client Communication. I'll just wait to see if any more questions come in, but in the meantime, it just leaves me to thank our two panelists, Hannes Mitterer and Karl Meyerhofer, and just to let you know, to remind you that the recording will be available to you online during the course of next week. We'll inform you of that via email. You'll also have the chance to give us any feedback that you have regarding the webinar, or if any questions that you think of that you would like to ask any of our panelists or to our Folio Cloud team in general, then you'll have a direct possibility to do that via our email. I'd also invite you to stay up to date with any webinars that we have upcoming. You can do this via our blog, via our social media channels, and also via the webinar page on our website under News, which hopefully you can see on your screen at the moment. So if there's no questions at this stage, then just leaves me to wish you a good Friday, a good weekend, and hopefully until next time, goodbye.